In 2023, I was dating some girl who didn't have a car or a driver's license really. And to be honest, dating is a little presumptuous. I mean, it wasn't really like that deep. I drove there and back a few times, and it was a bright sunny day when I did that. And after I left her house, it was pretty nice still. I mean, it was still a bright sunny day. I got on the highway and there was some dark, evil clouds. Like, it went from sunny, clear blue skies to like literally just clouds of black. Like, it looked like it was night over there. I eventually get to the clouds and rain started coming down. And boy, it was coming down hard. I mean, buckets of rain. Every single raindrop was like a bathtub of water hitting my car. I mean, I'm sure not actually, but it was a lot of rain. That's my point. Eventually, I can't see anything at all. There's a semi truck up ahead, and so I catch up to it a little bit. I keep my distance, but I start to use it as a guide. I can kind of follow the lights, and if I do hit something, it will most likely shield me from any potential damage because it will be the thing that gets hit first. I can't see anything at all. Eventually, the semi pulls over. I'm still 35 minutes from home, so I just say, hey, I'll just try and push through this. It might not even be that big a storm, which was really stupid. I'm not a super religious person, but I start to get worried. I look up and I say literally, I say this. It's a little embarrassing. I say, Big G, keep my arms steady. And that's it. I said, just keep my arms steady. I don't know why that was what I said, but it just felt like the most honest thing I could possibly say at that moment. So you know when you use your map on GTA to drive, like you're looking at the map more than you are at the road to kind of figure out where you need to go. You do that a lot in missions in that game. And so that's what I started to do. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see a thing in front of me at all. I couldn't see more than maybe a line in front of me on the road. And so I'm holding my phone up and I'm using my phone to basically figure out the curvature of the road. That's what I did. Eventually, I'm driving and I get an Amber Alert. Tornado spotted in Williamston. I can tell where I am just by the time of my drive and looking at the side of the road. Okay, there's nothing to panic about. Williamston is a decently sized area. It could completely miss me. Altogether, it's about 2.52 square miles, which is enough to where I should be fine. Even if it's within a mile of me, I've got plenty of time to make distance. I'm going about 40, maybe 30 miles per hour, so I just need to get through Williamston really quickly and I'll be safe. So it's highly unlikely that it would just make its way to the highway, right? I kept pressing on. The rain got harder, but then I started to notice something a little unusual. The rain was going diagonal. It wasn't going down like it usually does. That's not totally abnormal in a storm of this caliber. I mean, it's windy, right? It was really windy. That's what I thought too. I thought it was just the wind. But then something even stranger happened. Something I've never seen before in my life. I've never even heard people talk about this before. That's how rare it is, I guess, or maybe just untalked about it is. The rain was going completely sideways. Left to right or right to left. I don't really remember which. And then it kind of just hits me all at once. I'm driving right into a tornado. It's on the highway. My car didn't lift up. I stayed grounded pretty much the whole time. That didn't happen to the car in front of me. It was a pretty large one. And by car, it really wasn't a car. It was more a truck. It was maybe about the size of an F-250. Its truck bed and back wheels started to lift up off of the ground. It landed eventually and kept going, and that's exactly what I did. I don't know why, but after that, the truck pulled over maybe a minute later. But I wanted to keep my distance, and so I kept going. Not even a few seconds later, I noticed something weird up ahead on the road. It's still raining just as hard. It hasn't stopped at all. It's a red light on the right and a normal light on the left. I slam my brakes and as hard as I humanly can and veer right. It was another truck, except it was flipped over on its side. The lights I saw must have been the actual lights from the vehicle reflecting off of the rain. Almost impossible for me to see the lights that way. I missed the truck and am hanging off of the road. I barely didn't hit it. Half of my car is on a slope, and the other half is on that part of the road you're really not supposed to drive on. I continue. I still go. I figure at this point, I'm mostly okay to keep going. I mean, I literally am past the tornado, but I still want to keep as much distance as possible from that thing and me. And so I continue to drive. Tree branches are scattered all over the path this way. This must be where the tornado came from. Anyways, I press on, and then boom, a tree falls right into the road in front of me. My car absorbs the impact. It must have been a dead tree or something, because it fucking exploded when I hit it. Chunks of wood went flying everywhere. My car survives. I mean, it's fucked, don't get me wrong, but it can still operate, at least for now. Maybe 5 minutes go by and it starts to get slower and slower. Eventually, my foot is on the gas pedal full throttle, and my car is moving like 5 miles per hour. My car just stops, even though my gas is on the pedal, and so I did what I had to do. I got out of my car, and there was a bunch of branches in my engine. I am pulling these branches out of the engine on the side of the road. And keep in mind, it's still raining. I don't know if these people that are driving by me can see me. I'm on the side of the highway still. It's still raining just as hard as it was. After a few minutes of pulling out chunks of tree from my engine, I attempt to start my car, and by some miracle, it starts again. And I just go. My car doesn't go for very long, maybe 5 more minutes. I get to a nearby city, Fowlerville, and my car breaks down on the little curved freeway there. I just kind of left my car on the side of the freeway. I mean, what else was I gonna do? I wasn't gonna push it uphill, but either way, I decide that maybe being in my car isn't the best decision right now. So I just walk to the gas station from there. It's not far. It's maybe a 3-minute walk. You know, I basically tell this guy who's working there the whole story, and within maybe 10, 15 minutes, this black guy comes in. He is huge, like muscly and 6'5", and he is walking like he is blackout drunk. His face is covered in blood. He was one of the cars that got flipped over. There was a lot of cars that got flipped over. I only ever saw one. Eventually, my dad comes and picks me up, and the guy must have had a concussion, a really bad concussion. He wasn't able to walk properly. Keep in mind, this is maybe 10 minutes from where the tornado really hit. I call my dad, and I just kind of tell him everything, and he's like, you know, Cam, I can tell you're in shock right now because you loved that car. And it really wasn't that nice of a car. It was a 2014 Volkswagen Jetta. It was my first car I ever bought for myself. But it was black. It was a cool black car, and I did love it. It was cheap too. It was 12 grand and it had maybe 40,000 miles on it when I got it. So it was an affordable car. My car payment was like $200 a month. I eventually get home and I just kind of decompress, and then the insurance talks start to come in. Now, they basically tell me that I'm covered because it was an act of God, right? I mean, I didn't anticipate being in a tornado. I didn't expect that to happen to me. And every single thing I did was a basic measure of continuing to survive. So they basically elect to just give me a full coverage claim. But it takes months. And thank God I was remote working at the time, because I would have probably lost my job, I'm being honest. My insurance took 4 months to get me a check. And when I got the check, it wasn't even enough to pay off the balance on the car. I think it was maybe 10 grand, so I still had $2,000 left. So that was a fun experience. But yeah, I mean, here are some pictures of the tornado, like the devastation of it. You can actually, if you're driving on that road and you're heading to Lansing, you can still see where the tornado hit with the trees. They're all chopped in half like that. It is crazy. Even 3 years later today, you can still be like, that's where the tornado hit. And also, Michigan Live actually did a article on this tornado after it happened, and apparently it tossed around 17 semis. This is according to Michigan Live. I don't know how reliable of a resource this is, but that is pretty interesting. I do remember I did tell somebody that I was in a tornado, and I actually did have somebody reach out to me, and I just never followed up with them. I was like, I was just more preoccupied with getting another vehicle. Oh yeah, and a little another detail that, you know, girl I was saying, it, you know, things obviously didn't work out because I didn't have a fucking car and she didn't have her driver's license. So that just kind of meant that I would just, you know, that wasn't happening anymore, which was for the better. It was for the better. But yeah, that's the story of the time I accidentally drove through a tornado. Was it? I mean, I didn't drive through the tornado. I probably drove really, really close to it, like ridiculously close. One more thing, I guess. I have become extremely phobic, I guess, of the rain. I am terrified of rain now. It's gotten actually a lot better over the years, but for the first year and a half, it was really, really bad. Like every time it rained, I got scared. Even if I was in a home, I was terrified of the rain. It was a pretty near-death experience. I got so fucking scared when I realized that I was in the middle of a tornado. It was terrifying. I guess I don't really talk about that in the video. I was scared. I just knew the consequences of if I let my fear control me, I was a lot more likely to not make it out of there. I just had to focus. That was all I could really do. And somehow I did it. I'm actually pretty proud of how I handled all of it, honestly. But yeah, even sometimes now, my poor friends deal with this shit all the time. If I'm driving and like it starts raining really hard, I'm like, bro, can you drive? I'll literally ask them to drive if we're like sharing a car or something like that. Or I'll ask to pull over. If I'm like, if it's like a 10-minute rain, I'm like, guys, can we pull over? I'm scared. Like, I don't want to deal with this. We can just wait for it to die down a little bit. But it's not as bad now. I mean, I drove through the rain today and I didn't get scared. But it more so used to be my fight or flight would activate. I would go into like my blood would get hot and tight, and I would go into literal fight or flight. I would get angry. I would get literal just rage every time I was driving and there was like a little bit of rain. Something that's weird too that I had with my experience was the rain didn't scare me as much at nighttime. I don't know what it is, but something about the daytime, it was a bright sunny day and it turned immediately evil, dark, black clouds. I think that, like, there was a pit in my stomach that fell that day. And that, I think, is what I fear most. Because when I get that feeling, that's when I know that it might not, you know, things might not be okay. And when I was going through it, it felt like the end of the world. I thought, you know, you don't really think about it, but I'm like, God, if it's like this right here, this must be the end of the world. It felt like everywhere in the world was like that at this moment in time. When in actuality, that's not how the world works at all. We all know that. But yeah, that's everything. That's the consequences. Yeah, that's the whole story. It's funny to talk about now. It's a pretty like decent story, I will say. It's an adventure. There was definitely some consequences to it though. It's definitely impacted my life in a lot of ways. I mean, I used to love the rain. Like, I don't know. It was my favorite thing. I loved it.